Mm. Ah.
Yo, yo, yo.
What up? What up? Perfect timing, my man. J-Dub City. First things first. How was the chicken and waffles?
Hey, man, as good as good can be.
Damn, it looked good. I'm gonna have to go to Popeyes after this. I saw that.
I hear you, man.
Give me a bucket and watch some Luke Cage. So, but yeah, what's been going on, brother? We're live, by the way. What's been going on?
Can't complain, man. Just living life, loving life. You know how that is.
Yeah, maintain it.
There you go. Yeah, just trying to maneuver in these Twitter and YouTube streets.
Oh yeah. I remember somebody told me what the YouTube streets were, and I was like, I didn't get it, but I get it now. So, but I'm an old man. They have to. All these young guys, you all got to keep me in line, you know. Put me a breadcrumb every once in a while.
How you been, man? How you been?
Oh man, I've been doing well. I'm gaming, and that's I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn right now. Get the Frozen Wilds expansion, one for the Days of Play. And yeah, so I got it for $20, and even people at GameStop was like, "Wow, this is a steal," you know.
Yeah, so you enjoying that greatness too, huh?
Yeah, the greatness, and I'm still waiting on the I got the Gran Turismo here, and haven't updated it yet with the new tracks and new cars, and been playing that. But how about yourself? What you playing?
Man, I've been playing the new Mario Aces Tennis. Been trying to get down with that a little bit. Obviously, you know, the Gran Turismo. I did a stream about a week ago. I was trying to test my Elgato, my Stream Deck, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Other than that, man, On Rush for the PlayStation. I've been playing that. And other than that, I've been traveling.
Oh, well, there you go. That's all good. Job related, family related, for travel, or a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, today we're gonna get after the podcast. We're gonna go out on the scene and see what's going on in the city.
All righty. Well, I wanted to ask you, shout out to Ryan the Professional. He didn't know if you thought you could maybe swing by his podcast later this evening. It'll be 5 o'clock your time. I didn't know what your schedule was. I told him I'd drop a dime in your ear just to kind of let you know what was happening.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Just tell them to send me that link anyway. If I can make it, I'll make it. If not, then I might jump on a little bit. Whenever I get back home.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. All right, wow, man. Glad your family's doing well. We got some topics here. I was been working off and on this week, so I caught some of those crazy topics, and but shout out to everybody that's here. We'll get it going. We got to talk about that doll, man. I mean that really crushed me this week as far as I thought somebody was doing that Photoshop thing because that stuff looks so real on Photoshop that I couldn't tell the difference. I'm like, oh, somebody's just goofy, somebody's silly. And when that thing turned out to be real, I was on the floor laughing, bro. I can't lie. I'm not going to deny it. Like literally on the floor, hitting the floor laughing. So, but yeah. Then I want to get your spin on the because something you said was going to happen. This 7 NM chipset that's allegedly in mass production, and then you being a Switch owner and you have all the consoles. You also game on PC. Yeah. Definitely, I want to definitely go into what your take is on the whole X-Play controversy because you play on everything. You got it all.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. So we'll do the introduction from the East Coast to the West Coast. And everybody, thanks for joining us. This is Craig's Corner. And two quick announcements. Well, one quick announcement. I'm working on trying to get a banner set up. I'm going to do a news show. This is going to be called Megaton News. I'm sick and tired of seeing Megaton every time I turn around. So I'm just going to have a show called Megaton News. And it had gaming. It'll be current events. I'll have my typical op-ed on there. And I'm also looking to start a blog because I have no idea how to start one. So I am looking to do that and maybe looking for some writers to blog and stuff like that. So that's my summer and fall. And of course, I know everybody's going to be playing Spider-Man and all that stuff. So, but yeah, for everybody out there listening, watching, thank you for joining us today. Got my main man, special guest, J-Dub City. He brings a mirror of the gaming world, the business world, PC, everything. He's got it. He's got that knowledge that I'm glad he's able to come in here and chop it up with me for a little bit. So J-Dub, shout yourself out, brother.
Hey everybody, it's your boy J-Dub, aka Kratos, the god of PlayStation and all things gaming. And I'm here again on Craig's Corner. Y'all know how we do it.
Oh yeah. He's hanging out with the Messiah and the Cardinal one more time, chopping it up, you know. What's happening? Yeah, what is happening? But glad you're here, man. Glad your family's doing well and you're doing well as also. So I mean, we'll get into it. We'll start. We'll do a little appetizer here before we get to the good juicy stuff. The 7 nm, I guess, nanometer. Okay. Is it really only 7 nanometers? Like, is it that small? And then what can we expect from it if you're going a PC route? And how is it going to affect the NAVI VEGA line? Like, is this like, did AMD totally just say to hell with VEGA? Or what can we expect on this line of chipset?
Well, you got to realize by the time the next generation systems arrive, you know, it could be as early as next year or it could be as early as 2020. We don't know, but I mean, you can kind of guarantee that Sony and Microsoft have been working on their next architecture and stuff like that. All the tech that's going to be in there, they've been working on it now for about 3 to 4 years. So, but the 7 nanometer is obviously that's how much, you know, how small they've been able to shrink the die. So they're able to output, you know, obviously it's going to be more power efficient. It's going to be able to, you know, overclock more and stuff like that. So, you know, we're getting to that point where Moore's law is about to take a hold, and I don't see them going any lower than 6 or maybe 5 nanometer before they're going to have to come up with something else, some new silicon, some new type of material to be able to make these chips out of.
Yeah, well, I don't know what they. Is there something else?
Well, you remember, Craig? I mean, I think back in the Pentium 3 days. Now, I'm trying to think of what the nanometer size of the processor was back then. I mean, obviously, it was like the size of a Atari cartridge. If you guys remember how that looked, well, you know, Atari tape. And, you know, and now they've shrunk it down so much where it's, you know, the size a little bit less than a dime.
That's amazing.
It is. It is. So that lets you know how far we've come with technology. And on top of that, they're not only is just the CPU, but they're able to add a whole GPU and multiple GPUs and memory and all that stuff on a very small chip that give you the performance that, you know, probably 1 million times more than that what that Pentium 3 gave us.
Well, that's amazing. Now, what did you think? I don't know if you saw, you probably did. What did you think of that Intel chief, our CEO? I was a CEO or COO stepping down because he basically couldn't keep it in his pants.
It's not shocking, man. You got to understand people in high power. A lot of these, you know, corporate heads. They make millions of dollars. They feel like the world is theirs, and any and everything that's in it is theirs for the touching. And just like, you know, all those executives and people on Fox News, you know, you got a bunch of these predators, and I mean, we kind of know who they are, so it is what it is. But again, I'm all for it. I hope them women go get them, go rip them pockets apart and get all that money they can.
All right, so the 7, this is the CPU. You said this has nothing to do with the GPU. Yes. So they're able to take if things are getting smaller, but they're getting more powerful. Is that kind of the way?
It's more power efficient. The smaller it is, the less power it takes to run. To put things in perspective, the Switch runs off of 7 watts of power. think the PS3 and the Xbox run around 30 to 50, anywhere between 30 to 50 watts of power for their specific CPU and stuff like that. So yeah. I mean that's the power, that's the difference, right? That's a big difference. Now obviously the power, you know, looking at the two, the PS4 and the Xbox One compared to the Switch, you may say, hey, well, there's a big difference in power, but if you realize the Switch is one T-flop and the other systems are, you know, 1.8, 1.3 T-flops, it's not that huge of a difference when you look at performance, but when you look at power consumption, I mean, that means everything.
Okay, now let me ask you, because we're talking about these chipsets. If all things are equal, because Mark Cerny has said in 2016, you know, that article we pulled up and looked at, that they need 8 T-flops minimum. That's on the GPU side. But if both Sony and Microsoft are looking, Phil Spencer flat said frame rates is what kind of where they're going. So do you think graphically we're kind of at Moore's Law? Then what else can be done graphically? I guess there's some things. I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and when you do those stealth takedowns, when you're looking at Aloy's muscle, she's not very toned. You know, when she's taking the muscles down, when she's taking things down.
No, yeah, she's very feminine. So yeah. You know, she's not like Lara Croft with all the muscles and you know.
Yeah, because to me, the best looking game I've played on Xbox X has been the Tomb Raider game, the Rise of the Tomb Raider. I mean, it's 4K native. It's pretty, you know, I can't tell if it has frame rate drops. I'm not saying it doesn't. But as far as what it looks like graphically, so next generation, if they both deliver 60 frames per second on the games, okay, so what will graphically be standing out then? Because they're going to both use something called ray tracing, which I have not. That sounds like I should have invited Ray on because Ray would be tracing. I guess I don't know, but ultimately, what exactly can we expect going forward if all things are equal? They both use this type of chipset, that both being Microsoft and Sony on their consoles, compared not to each other, but compared to the Xbox One X, the Scarlet. What's the Scarlet going to deliver that the X will not deliver? Because Microsoft has said they're not. Shout out to Matt's Gaming. He quoted an article, I don't know if it was Xbox Wire or something like that, that they're not going to leave the Xbox X behind or make it obsolete. So what exactly do you think the new Xbox brings that the X did not deliver on?
Well, basically it's that promise of 4K 60 everything, which I think most people probably knew that wasn't going to be the case because it was using the same CPU that's inside of the OG Xbox One, so that's always going to be your limiting factor. So I think the Scarlet is going to knock that out the park. Not only are you going to get a better GPU, but you're going to get that high class CPU, so you will be able to hit those 4K 60 frames a heck of a lot more than you are now. So they don't have to look forward to just having you know, slightly better textures or slightly higher resolution than the Pro.
Right. Okay. All right. So the PS5 compared to the Pro, do you think, and we were just speculating here, the games that are quote unquote checkerboard at 4K, which I mean, I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn, looks fantastic, you know. What do you think is different with the native picture? Say there's a Horizon 2 or Guerrilla makes another Horizon game, and it being 60 frames per second. What do you think will be the main differences? Less motion blur or a little bit crisper? The characters look like.
I think it's going to be all of the above.
Okay.
The one thing I do think is next generation, the Scarlet will be able to give you those options like a PC to be able to turn some features down, turn some stuff up. There's a lot of people I know that hate motion blur, even though a lot of times the developers use that as a method of covering up stuff or creating a cinematic effect.
Yeah. The motion blur on the Star Wars Battlefront 2, the campaign is fantastic. Yeah. I mean, it's really good. If you're a Star Wars fan, and then you can switch it to the film look. I think that was cool too. A lot of people don't know you can do that, but it's an option there in your option screen. Yeah. So the thing on the Xbox X is underneath the little bit mo button, as I like to say.
Yeah.
But so ultimately, let me ask you this then. Do you think, because you went out and you bought the X, you said you kind of put you in a sunken place and all that stuff, and you gave multiple of them away. Mine full disclosure for all the new subs. J-Dub, hooked the brother up, hooked me up as well. So, but do you think the Xbox X is a failure? From what you got told. Do you think you read, and a lot of people read more into what was being said versus what they were going to deliver? Or do you think if they're already disclosing 7 months out of the womb, like I said, there's people that have had sex, gone to the doctor, their girlfriend or wife's pregnant, and the baby ain't even here yet. They're already talking about a replacement. Yeah. So, for the X. So do you think that they overpromised, or just people read more into it? What do you think? And ultimately, do you think it's a failed console if they're already got a replacement line, an announced replacement within not even in a calendar year?
Yeah. The X, I do believe it did not live up to the hype. But I'm not going to say it was a mistake or a bad system. I just think Microsoft oversold it, and the fanboys doubled down on that. So they have a lot of egg on their face.
Correct.
But
okay. I agree with that.
Again, if you're a first, new adopter into the Xbox ecosystem, then that is the system for you. That's the best one to get.
Okay. I don't disagree with that. Now, do you say the S or the X? If somebody came to you, let's say you're at the store, you're at where? Best Buy, Walmart, and somebody's like, you know what? I don't really know which one of these to get. I got a 4K TV. I'm an Xbox fan. Do I get the Xbox One S or the Xbox One X? Which do you say? And they say the money doesn't matter. Let's just say they convey to you, I can get either one. Which one do you think I should go ahead and get?
I would get an S.
Okay.
Save that money. Everything else, get Game Pass, get that, and that's it. That's all you need. There is literally no reason for you to do that. I mean, matter of fact, you can get a Switch and the S and the Game Pass for the same price as X, or you can get a PlayStation and a Switch, and I mean, it's just so many different combinations that make the X doesn't really look like a great value, monetary wise, anyway.
Yeah. I actually got that question Wednesday afternoon. Of course, you all know I'm at Best Buy. That's where I'm at, But And they might as well just, hell, they might just give me a job there. I'm up there so much. But somebody actually asked me that question. I recommended the S as well. I said, look, you can play your 4K movie still. That's what you want. You and the missus want to watch. It lets you stream stuff in 4K on a USB stick. And so you can still play the same games if you want to get online with your friends and stuff like that. And it's no difference in online. If it's 30 frames, it's 30. If it's 60, it's 60, so forth and so on. I said, I don't know why you would get the X over the S at this point, but everybody's different. It's not everybody's wallet is different, so. But the S, a lot of Xbox cats don't know this. You know this, J-Dub. The S is the top selling Xbox, not the X. The X is actually underperforming. So not saying it's bad. That doesn't mean it's a bad console, people. So it's like the slim PS4 is outselling the Pro. Okay, it just is. That's just kind of the way it is. So yeah. All right.
Well, and Craig, you got to think about it. When people say that, right? And unless you get sales numbers, you don't know. when the PlayStation 4 Pro launched, its first month, right? Its first initial month, it did well. The X, when it dropped, that initial month was higher, more sales than the Pro when it sells in that 1 month. But for some reason, people tend to keep putting out here that the X is outselling the Pro, which it actually is not. The Pro had a year head start, so obviously it's not outselling the Pro. And since Microsoft doesn't give any numbers, we just don't know. I mean, which one would you want to believe that's selling better? A system that costs $399 to $349, or one that costs $500 with no exclusives. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I was told by a retail guy that the S by far. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, you just kind of, it's common sense, people. You know, it's movies make more money during the matinee during that night because it's cheaper. You know, but yeah, we'll move it on here. Oh man! All right, let's talk. I didn't have this one up there. I saw Halo Storm mention this in the chat. Let's talk about this NPD thing really quick. Let me ask you something about the NPD. All right, so Sony wins NPD hands down. Okay, it's not even close hardware wise. Why do you think this whole State of Decay thing? Even though State of Decay is available now, somebody correct me in the chat, or J-Dub, correct me please if I'm wrong. My understanding of State of Decay Part 2 is that it's available on Xbox and on PC. So why is everybody surprised that a game that's available on 2 platforms, multi-plat, outselling a game or games only available on 1 platform?
Mm-hmm.
What's your honest opinion about this? Because to me, just real quick, to me, a hamburger that's available at 3 different locations should outsell a hamburger available at 1.
Yeah.
So, but what do you think about all this crazy stuff that happened over the last 48 hours?
I think it's great comedy. And you know, obviously it's some goalposts being moved, but you know, at the end of the day, I say, you know, my whole take on it.
Yeah.
Let Xbox have the W. Let that fan base have the W. You know, they probably won't win NPD probably ever again this generation. So I don't know. You know, just give it to them. It doesn't mean anything to the PlayStation guys, right? I mean, you've won all these years. You know, 5 straight years of NPD hardware and software. You know, it's no skin off your back by giving them this one. The fact of the matter is, that game sold well for them. You know, now keep in mind, yes, this is the only game that they had for a while. You know, yes, it's available on both platforms. Yes, all of the above, you know, but at the same time, these guys live in a different realm than reality. So you're never going to win by going against the system like that. You just got to give them the W in any little fashion they can possibly have and just move on.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I was just kind of like, well, aren't you all the same group of people that said the multi-plats always sell more than exclusives? So why is this? I don't, you know, it's almost like there's like a group of people who forget that they say stuff. I mean, it's almost, I don't understand that, you know.
Yeah.
Let me get your opinion on something else that Float Leasewood said.
Oh Lord!
So apparently, this is your opinion on it. Apparently, Cyberpunk, which is running on something called an i7 8700K, I wrote that down, and it was also running on something called a 1080 Ti. But apparently, they chose their Xbox X because it's the world's most powerful console. Yet, did not show any gameplay of it on the world's most powerful console. So, what do you think about this statement? And again, the reaction of, well, pretty much was, well, even though he said it, Black Bond, shout out to him, this is none of his business. He doesn't need to be doing this stuff. So what do you think about that?
Oh my God. You know what? I've been trying to fall back. I've been trying to fall back on this. I don't know if you saw it, but I hadn't really been making a big stink of it because this, I mean,
I saw it. Yeah,
for the last week, right? The whole Twitter and the whole internet been going crazy. So I've been trying to fall back and just kind of poke fingers and stuff like that. What do you think? What's your thought on it?
I thought it was the stupidest statement I've heard. It's one of, let me make this clear, it's one of the dumbest statements I heard because I can see, again, my statement on my stance is that it's not official until the company says it. Period. That's just my stance. That's why I always say, take this with a grain of salt. This is not official yet, or something like that, or wait for an official statement from somebody. So, give you an example. Screen Rant reported that the Spider-Man demo, when Spider-Man looks up and says it's you or something like that, they reported that character is Daredevil. Now, they did not. Now, Sony did not confirm that. So I've said, hey, look, it may not be anything. Just take it with a grain of salt. But I think the fact that CD Projekt Red, to me, again, and my understanding is when Witcher 3 came out, they had a marketing deal with Microsoft. And that's, so to me, it makes sense for them to go with Microsoft again. But as far as him saying it, it doesn't surprise me because he's a simp. But ultimately, the fact that it's in order to see this game running the way that it looked allegedly, now I need to get something called a 1080 Ti and something called an i7. So my poor Ryzen chip, I need to find something in the Ryzen line that's the equivalent of the i7. And I know that the 580 is not NOT, ain't even getting close to something calls itself a 1080 because 1080 is more numbers than 580. So I ain't even going to look like that when I'm running that game on my PC. So for me, I was glad to see the game, but it's like, well, damn, I got no gameplay. It's kind of like going into a restaurant and you're waiting and they bring the food past you. It's like, well, the food smells good, but goddamn, I can't eat. I ain't even sit at the table yet.
Exactly.
So disappointing, but shocked that people literally were saying that the fact that he said that shouldn't matter. The hell it don't matter. That's the problem. That's the problem. Again, if cats would just shut up and play their games, it'd be fine. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, it's I don't know. This is what I think, right? When I was watching that Spider-Man gameplay trailer and I saw that, the first thing that kind of stood out of my mind was, man, maybe that's Iron Man. Maybe Sony worked out a deal, by having Spider-Man in the Avengers movie. Yeah, maybe some kind of way they returned the favor, worked out a deal where other Marvel characters will be allowed to be in the game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It could be any and all of the above. But if they confirmed it, then I just can't wait. September the 7th. So
yeah, I took a screenshot of me buying that yesterday. I thought it was a big deal. Made me feel popular. That was before I realized Luke Cage was back on season 2. I had no idea that was back on. But but ultimately, we'll move on then. But I just thought those were funny topics. Because Halo Storm thought we were going to, I guess I was going to damage control. I'm like, there's nothing to damage control. If it's sold on multiple platforms, it should outsell something. A car with 4 tires should run faster than a car with 2 tires. That's why I'm going to leave it there. Okay.
Yeah.
But congratulations. Like I said, I played State of Decay and I got stuck in. I was literally, like the Philadelphia experiment or something like that. So shout out to them for doing that, So But we'll move on. Let's talk about let's do something medical here. Let's talk about video game addiction because the DRS5, which is the psychological thing, they're looking to qualify this. And what I mean by looking is, in order for them to ratify a new disease or disorder, that comes from the United Nations. It has to be a certain amount of, because I do billing and coding. So like I heard about this in March, but they now are looking to code this pretty much to diagnose people with it so that they can get the insurances to cover it so they can make more money. So first things first, what do you think about them possibly trying to classify this as a disorder, video game addiction as a disorder, and the qualifications of the people calling in sick to play video games, which I've never called in sick, but I have taken days off, like a day after, PTO day. And my favorite one was, it's all dealing to do with online gaming. Because if you all don't know, this people in the chat, if you don't know this really quickly, video games were never designed for you to be playing online. This literally what this says, is that they were designed for you to just have a task and complete the task, because that makes us feel good. We're wired to complete tasks. What's up, JD33? So the fact that you're playing online is already like an unnatural state of why they created gaming in the first place. But what do you think about this? And what does this have to say for the poor people that want to get one-man army and call in the B2? What's your thought, J-Dub?
I don't know. Hey, yeah, you got some guys in the comment section. I'm just trying to keep it gaming with them. So,
oh yeah, I see that. Just let me know if you get something done.
No, it's all good. I just want to let them know, hey, I'm everywhere I go, I like to keep it gaming and keep it gaming and keep it gaming. All that other stuff, I could care less about.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. That's good.
But back to the gaming. What was that last question?
Yeah, of course. What do you think how is this going to affect the people that want to call in the B2 and get one-man army online all the time?
I know, right? Here's the thing, right? When I saw these guys going crazy, and then now you have Nintendo and Microsoft trying to join forces.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Yeah. But yeah.
So maybe I'm jumping the gun, but you already know what that's a loaded pistol there. That's a loaded pistol.
Yeah. Well, all right. Before we do the Fortnite thing, because we'll talk about the bundle, the double team thing.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you, bro, because you're a gamer. You gaming, you buy it. Bottom line.
Yeah.
Which is great. But what? I'm trying to ask with a straight face. I'm sorry. All right. What do you think about this doll that they came out with? It was just kind of on the. Now I don't know what happened first. Well, let me back up. All right. Game question here, because I did see you tweet about this. I think Tuesday or Wednesday. Crackdown 3 was a developer or something like that. One of the lead developers.
Two of them.
Did not know that. Okay, 2 of them. Them leaving. What do you think this says for the game?
That says that game is in trouble, and I've been saying this for a while. I think Microsoft wanted to cancel this game, but because what they've done before is just bad time and bad press, they'd rather just to delay and to kind of hopefully people stop asking about the game. So I do believe this is going to be one of those The Last Guardian games where, it's not going to come out for quite a long time. Or they're going to stealth launch the game and not say much about it. It's just going to show up on Game Pass one day when, in the wee hours of the night. That's what I think. This game is in trouble. You have the original guys who've been on these games. to leave, and that typically means that not all is well. And who knows? Phil could have went in there and be like, "Look, I gave you guys 5 years to work on this damn game, and it still looks like a OG Xbox game." So I don't know. That game is in trouble. I've been saying they need to go ahead and come out and cancel it, or just throw it out as is on Game Pass, and just take that L and then move on.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me say something real quick. All right, Legends and Tuda, knock it off. I will strip you of your riches and boot you out for good. Knock this shit off. You can't keep it gaming. You don't need to be here.
Thank you.
So just knock it off.
Yeah.
So all right, yeah, go. All right, now back to what you were saying.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what that is, man. I think that game is in trouble. And here's the thing about it, Craig. They are spending so much clout on a game that was never big in the first place. That game has always been mediocre. It's never been a top tier Xbox game. So I don't know why they're spending all that stuff. And Phil has already confirmed that, basically the game is not about the cloud. So he said he made a mistake originally by hyping up the tech and all that stuff up front, and now he's trying to distance himself from it. As we have said over the years, Craig, the power of the cloud does not exist. It's up in the air.
I don't disagree. I mean, to me, from what I understood about the cloud, is it really has to do with a game like Elite Dangerous. That's if you take a mission and it says you got 10 days to do it. You have 10 days to do it. You can't turn off your system, your Xbox, your PlayStation, your PC. If you leave for 11 days, you failed a mission because it's keeping it in, the cloud allows them to track things in real time.
Yeah.
So you use the cloud when you buy something, people to take pictures, which I think is amazing. They have that app out or something. You can take a picture of a check and it deposits. That's cloud. That is your cloud base at work. So it's just a giant storage device, But yeah, I think now let's be fair. Amy Hennig, I believe it was, she was part of the Uncharted team, and she left. And of course, Naughty Dog still delivered with Uncharted 4. I think everybody agrees with that. But so people do leave. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing this. And my understanding is those two developers left, speaking of Naughty Dog, and they went to go work at Naughty Dog. So congratulations to them, since everybody all of a sudden gives a damn about when developers leave the one job to another. I saw that last week. Like, are you kidding me? You guys are talking about where dudes are getting their money at now? The hell's going on out there?
Exactly.
Like that Vince Lombardi thing you see on ESPN, and he's just screaming, "What the hell's going on out there?"
Yep.
All right. Let's get into the chicken and waffles here. Because you've got all the consoles. Well, let's talk about the Fortnite bundle. Now, I don't play Fortnite. You remember I used to make fun of it. I used to call it Fort Pub because it pretty much was doing the same thing that something called a PUBG is. With something called PUBG, nobody's playing it because I just saw a report that like 40% of its people are gone. Now, I don't know where they went. I mean, they could be playing Overwatch. Unless PUBG gets into esports, which it's going to have to, because Overwatch and these other games that are Battle Royale, they're in esports. Yeah. So, and that's their saving grace. But first things first, I know you've played PUBG and stuff like that, but the whole Fortnite bundle thing, Sony's response to all this BS going on, good move, troll move, or a little bit of both?
To me, perfect move.
Mm-hmm.
It's a perfect move. If you want to silence people and tell them that you don't care, then you come out with a Fortnite console and give people free VC points and make some exclusive content for it. That's how you do it. You shut up the naysayers and you tell people, look, you want to play this game, go buy it on Xbox or go buy it on the Switch if you want to play it with other people. If you want to play it on the PlayStation, then you buy it on the PlayStation. Nobody,
Right.
you know, again, I get, you know, I get what people are saying. I'm not discounting it, where for all the PlayStation players who've played it previously, if you bought a Switch and you want to move your all your saves and all your content that you buy over to that system, you won't be able to do it. But here's my thing. There's a ton of games that come way before Fortnite. You've had the same situation and nobody has ever said anything. So I think the limited amount of people who would really complain and who this really affects are very, 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 very small. Most people are really arguing for crossplay. They don't even care about the whole locking your content onto the away from the Switch. So it's become a thing for the, you know, the fanboys, obviously, to score some points on Sony and to try to knock them, because, you know, obviously, come on, they're the leader. And anytime you're the champ, you know, people look to take you down. And you know what? Sony just got to take them lumps. But I wouldn't give in. Take that stance. And that's been a part of the problem with Microsoft this generation, right? They say something, they do something, and then any little bit of rumble, they're willing to waffle and move away from it and lose ground and not know and become afraid of, you know, Microsoft is afraid to do anything because they're scared what people are going to say or people are going to do. Or it's like, listen, when Apple comes out and they say, look, I want to change the charger to this port on the phone, I'm gonna get rid of the audio jack on it. They don't ask the consumers if they like that or not. They just do it. And if you want an iPhone, you have no choice but to buy an iPhone. You know, that's just kind of what that is. And guess what? At this point in time, yeah, people complained up front, but a week later, everybody was out there buying an iPhone in droves. So you have to pick a stance, you have to pick a point, and you have to stick with it. And I think if Sony does not want to play with Microsoft and not play with Nintendo on certain things, that's their right. They're the champs. Hey, you know, unless their fan base start complaining and whining and the sales drop, I think they're going to hold the line. I think they're just going to stay with it. And next week, there'll be fake outrage of something else.
Yeah, because let me ask, here's what I look at. All right, I've got Mass Effect on the Xbox X, backwards compatible, all the DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why shouldn't I be able to, if I get it on, if I go out and buy a PS3, I get all the Mass Effect games, I still have to buy the games. Why? That's like me saying that I should be able to take everything I bought on Xbox and just bring it over to the PlayStation, or vice versa,
Yeah.
So I just don't understand why this is. Now, I did listen to a shout out to Tony P. I listened to the Throwdown the other night, and I do agree with him in the fact that Epic, if those aren't Sony's accounts, then unlock them. But Epic knew that going in. Like, Epic knew that Sony always locks down its accounts because they got hacked a few years ago. Like that, I'm talking about the hack into their movie studios and stuff got out about actors and actresses. It's the reason why Spider-Man went to Marvel, is Sony needed to generate some goodwill, and it worked. It worked. No, you're not talking about everything Sony hacks anymore because once Spider-Man went, the press went nuts. You know, especially the gaming, the comic book press. I'm sorry, I just think that, and I tried to play Fortnite once. Shout out to Kevin Romero. He invites me all the time, but I think my person was jumping up and down like on a trampoline. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm jumping up and down on the trampoline, and then all of a sudden the screen something happened. I got in the wrong spot, and my character died. I'm like, that's it? That's the point of this game? You know? You know, So and it's nothing against the game. I understand it's extremely popular because you build things. So they take some elements of Minecraft, you put it into this game, and you have people running around shooting each other. But on Tony P show Throwdown, shout out to them. You had a cat on there talking about it's anti-consumer, and I'm like, these people don't know what anti-consumerism is. If it was anti-consumer, whether it be Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, I don't care, Best Buy, whatever, the SEC, the Security and Exchange Commission, will be up their asses. That's what they do. You go to, the reason why the Marvel or Disney trying to buy the Fox properties is taking so long is because the SEC is holding everything up. That has nothing to do with anybody else but the Securities and Exchange Commission, making sure that there's not a monopoly or there's going to be anti-consumerism. So, but ultimately, I just don't know where the term anti-consumerism comes when nobody does this. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you buy Madden on the Xbox, and then I buy it on the PlayStation, it's like saying, I say, I'm going to play it on Xbox now. I should be able to port my team over to the Xbox. All the stuff I've done. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, and, that's true. But listen, Craig, and this is my whole point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who buys a console to play on another console? I don't understand that. I buy an Xbox because I want to play with a Switch. Who in the hell? I mean, like, that has never in the history of gaming has ever happened. My Nintendo cartridges have never fit in my Sega Genesis. My TurboGrafx has never played with my ColecoVision. That stuff just has not ever happened. So I think this is a one-off. My whole thing is, we're whining over a free-to-play game, a game that's on every platform. I just think it's worth that time. But to those who want to spend a lot of time and attention on it, then have at it. Again, I have the Switch and I have the PlayStation and I have the Xbox, and I have never once said, let me play with my sons or my daughters on their Switch with my PlayStation. That just has never happened. I never wanted to. If I want to,
Yeah, because, all right, Fortnite's on PC, right?
Fortnite is on everything, Craig.
Okay. So, in theory, if you booted up your PC and played a Battle Royale game, you could be playing with the people from the PlayStation and the Xbox, right? You just wouldn't know because it's crossplay with it. Does it crossplays with the Xbox, or does Xbox not?
It crossplays with everything. They put it in like and I'm assuming, Craig, because you got to think about it, right? The Switch runs at 30 frames per second, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And the rest of the consoles running at 60. So you're playing with cell phones, you're playing with all of that. I don't know. Maybe the Switch, there's not going to be a lot of chicken dinners for the Switch players. I don't know.
Hey, well, shout out to Pablo the Third, aka the real P3. He won a game on the Switch, or he came in first place. I don't know if he got a chicken dinner, but yeah, he took a picture of it. He seemed pretty excited. So, but no, I'm just trying to figure out: is there one platform that you can just play with everything? It sounds like it's the PC, but PC makes sense because that's an open platform.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is closed. And I said this on the other show the other night, and I mean, you're a businessman, so let me ask you really quick. I was talking about value versus devaluing. To me, and this is what I said, and correct me if I'm wrong, to me, okay, you don't do business with people who got less than you. You always do business with people who have the same or more. Because you always want to go into osmosis, go from a lower plane to a higher plane.
Yeah.
Sony, by default, if they allow crossplay with the Switch or the Xbox, that's called diffusion. In the medical field, that's called diffusion. You're going from a higher plane to a lower plane, and that then, because you get into the lower plane, that then starts pulling everything together, and then the value of your company drops down.
Yep.
That's why I think Sony's not doing it, because people are like, it's about the money. Yeah, their company would lose value. Like overnight, you lose value.
Listen, Apple is not doing business with Atari. And that's just kind of what that is, right?
Yeah.
That's
I can't.
pretty much.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Apple does not do business with Atari. Therefore, these are my competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Why in the hell would I want to give them a handout? Why would I want to help them?
Yeah.
People don't realize PlayStation is Sony's bread and butter. If they give any of their competitors any advantages over them, and that backfires, this could spell doom and gloom for the company.
Yeah.
So you can understand why Sony doesn't want to do that. That's just, you know, you can say it's anti-consumer, you can say whatever, but at the end of the day, they have shareholders, they have people that they are accountable to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, you can't. I mean, there's a reason why if I'm a Toyota dealer and I have all the 2018 Toyotas and maybe some 17s on my lot because I have the newer, we're the Toyota lot. And it's like J-Dub or somebody in the chat here. Ryan Landis has a used car business 5 blocks away. Mm-hmm. And Ryan Landis coming onto my lot saying, why don't you put some of these 2018 Toyotas down on my used car lot? Well, yeah, that now my used car lot is devalued because now people will do what? They'll say, we can go down to the used car lot and get it cheaper. Yep. Or not have to pay as much, or I can get a better monthly rate at the used car lot. And that's kind of like what people do not understand. So It is all about money. I mean, they're in business to make money. It's not a charity, unfortunately. And they do cross-play with PC. And like J-Dub just said, if you play Fortnite, I call it Fort Pub. If you play that game on PC, you very well may be playing with Xbox guys and PlayStation guys. There's no way to delineate. Yeah, for them to stay, just like on if you play it on the PlayStation, you may be in a game with a bunch of PC people. You'll never know. You will never know. Yeah, so unless you go to esports, and now esports may have a PlayStation team and then have a PC team playing against each other because they've done that before. They did it last year with Counter-Strike. I think there was some place. I think there was. It maybe not have been Counter-Strike, but with FIFA, the tournament they just had last year, they had a PlayStation going up against an Xbox. They had their own network, and they had them both playing against each other. So but I just do not get. Yeah, Harry Ham's right. Just buy a PC. I agree. Yeah, I call it Fort Pub. So. Oh man. The RH1Z1. Yep. I believe that's another one. I played that one time for like an hour. It was fun because we dropped somewhere and somebody threw a smoke bomb. I'm like, oh no, they're throwing free smoke. Shout out to Trey BK because he kept inviting me. I'm like, all right, I'll play for a little bit because it was free. Yeah. And so I'm like, I'll just see. I'm like, all right, it was okay. It was fun. Just, and I like it because that green smoke comes out of nowhere. And ultimately everybody got condensed to this little bitty circle. And it was just a free-for-all at that point, just everybody was shooting at everybody. So that was fun, So yeah, it was actually pretty cool. So but yeah, all right, let's talk about this Microsoft and Nintendo. Is this true? Is it called surviving together?
The bromance.
Yeah. Yeah, so what exactly does this mean? Are they really or was that Photoshop surviving together? Is that a real marketing thing that's being pushed?
It's a real marketing. They put out I think a little small teaser tweet and small video and stuff, basically saying that you want to play Fortnite, you guys can play together or whatever. You got to realize that Nintendo is using the Xbox Live service. Correct. So that's how that's being set up. But you got to realize Nintendo doesn't even have an online service, so that's beneficial to Nintendo to use Xbox online service. I think Nintendo knows that it's going to move up to second place here soon.
Mm-hmm.
So they're using that to their advantage, right? And I don't whether Microsoft knows that or not, but Sony may be looking through the cloud and saying, no, we are not going to help you guys out at all. We want to protect our base. We want to cater to our base, and we could care less. And let's be truthful, bro. Nintendo guys and Xbox guys don't care about Sony or PlayStation. They don't. It's like it's like water and oil. They just don't mix. And I just don't see a bunch of Xbox guys all of a sudden. I don't understand why they're whining and crying and complaining to play with PlayStation guys when they can't stand them. That makes no sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but yes, Nintendo and Microsoft are right now they have a holy alliance together against Sony, and I think more than now, if Sony decision wasn't solidified, it's solidified now. I think that basically solidified that Sony won't budge on this whole Fortnite thing.
Yeah. I don't. Here let me, because I thought about this. Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say and this is for the chat too. If Microsoft had come out in 2013 at the launch event, and said, okay, Sony approached us last generation with crossplay with several titles, and we turned them down. Looking back on that wasn't the best thing for gamers going forward. Going forward, we will go ahead and we're open to talking with Sony about doing crossplay on several titles, provided we can all sit down and hash out the details. That to me is the way that they should have went about this, because I don't see Nintendo's executives, pleading for crossplay on social media. I mean, I haven't seen it yet. And, I'm not here to say that they're not doing it. I haven't seen it yet. I have seen Phil Spencer and Aaron Greenbeard and something that calls itself a Mike Yabar, whatever his name is, pleading for this stuff. So and on the flip side, I haven't, to add to what you just said earlier, I haven't seen a ton of Sony folk pleading with Sony to do it. I haven't. Now, I mean, I don't know where. I mean, I'm not everywhere. I'm the little bitty guy. Like, shout out to Zaire, he's this little dog shit channel, that I got here. So, mine, I understand what he's saying there. But ultimately, I have not seen it. And to think that Sony at an executive level doesn't know, to think that more than their executives know about their own user group is fucking stupid. Go ahead and chime in, brother.
Hey, listen, you just hit the nail on the head. You think Sony hasn't already looked into this and saw their fan base? Think about it. Think about this, Craig. Again, I'm going to state it again. Nintendo doesn't have an online. They only cater to kids. Microsoft has an online, but they don't have any games. And so this is it's a holy alliance. Now, here's the thing, right? Even if those two guys decided to join forces, Sony has put themselves in a certain position where they cater to the grown-ups, to the adults. They're not out here making dolls or cardboard boxes. You see what I'm saying? So you got the doll makers, you got the cardboard makers getting together, and we're gonna see maybe a cardboard doll come out in the near future. And on the flip side, you got Sony out here with games showing lesbians kissing and hammers in the head and brains being blown out and androids taking over, and I mean all this mature stuff and gods being defeated. I mean, that's the stuff that adults want. The whole Fortnite thing, which obviously is a kiddie game, right? So this is why Sony, I think they don't, at this particular time, they don't care. They know that their base, they probably looked at the utilization of Fortnite on PlayStation even though there's probably more Fortnite players on the PlayStation due to the install base, they probably look at it like this. These guys, there's probably, you know, more people prepping to play H1Z1. Did you see there was like 7 million people or something like that that were playing that game? Yeah.
No,
so, but again, that's a more mature rated game than Fortnite. So, and PUBG had its time. You know, it was a more mature rated game. But, you know, people move on. So, you know, it's funny seeing this thing kind of shake out. And it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this.
Well, I mean, if Sony wasn't doing any crossplay, I think they have a better listening audience.
Yeah.
But the fact that Sony does crossplay with PC, which is, you know, fine, you know, but at H1Z1, I can't aim with that game, you know, but I have fun. But really, like an player, I can go out there and be fodder. And I laugh at the green smoke that's on there. So, because I'll just literally start laughing over my headset. Like I would just start laughing, free smoke, you know. So, But it's like with oh man, it's like that day we were playing Gran Turismo. You know, I was like, well, there's no way I can keep up. He's got a steering wheel. I'm just kind of driving around getting smoked out here. those cars were rolling. I could not believe that. So, But yeah, I thought that was but I just don't see it. I agree with you, and I saw Hard 8. Shout out to Hard 8 Times. I mean, he putting people on blast about it too, because you can't do it anywhere else. That's what I don't understand. Is that, like I said before, I can't take my Mass Effect saves and then go to PS3 and be like, oh, this is not right. I mean, any other game. But it's expected to, and like you said, they formed an unholy alliance. And that, to me, if you had any question about the console war, who's winning, who's losing, who won, that tells you. The fact that they had to pull Lord of the Rings, Samwise Gash pulling Frodo up the Mount Doom to try to get him to destroy the One Ring, and Sony is that giant eyeball. You know, that's exactly what this looks like to me.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Well, let's end on a funny note. What's going on with this doll, man? Well, let me start off by saying this. The doll. The doll is available. Mm-hmm. Shout out to King Thrash, because he made a good point the other night. He said that it's just their way of letting the accessories. It's just their way of trying to get kids to adapt to something early. Because he's right. The earlier that you get exposed to it, except at the iPhone store. I have no idea. These kids are 5 years old. They go in there. They just know how to work that stuff. Yeah. I'm in there struggling. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm like, how does this even work? And some kid is just like, beep, 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 and then it works, you know. So exactly. They just, I don't know how they do it. I don't know. We're just, even my generation invented that stuff, and they can run it better than we can. All right. But anyway, ultimately, what was I saying? Okay. Ultimately, so shout out to King Thrash on that. But I'm going to tell you my personal perspective on the doll. That doll is representative of the Xbox community. It's got a headset on so you all can talk to your buttery, simpy friends and call in the B2. It's got on skinny jeans because God knows you all can't, you got nothing, you got no package down there so you can wear that tight shit. And not to mention, third and more importantly, it's probably soaking wet from sitting there, not getting up because it wants to play online. But what is your thought on that doll?
Listen, I get it, right? I do get it, but here's the thing. I don't think Major Nelson or Aaron Greenberg or Mike Ibarra, whoever tweeted that out on the main Xbox feed, I don't think they should have did that because it comes across. Obviously, they should have known how Twitter was going to take it. They have to be self-aware of where they are and who they are. They have to be aware of that. So I just think that a lot of times they do things and, maybe their intentions are good. Yeah. But when people are begging for games and asking you for more mature rated games and stuff like that, and you tweeting out dolls, it shows that you guys are investing in any and everything else but the stuff you're supposed to be investing in. And that's kind of always been, that kind of sums up this generation for Microsoft.
Yeah, I can't. You're right. It's
funny, Craig. I see people defending it like, well, I'm gonna give my daughter this. She loves gaming. I'm trying to get her into gaming. I hate to say it, but I have daughters, and seeing a doll with a headset on and an Xbox controller does not necessarily force them to play games. If you want to introduce your kids to games, you buy them a console, you sit them down with maybe a Fortnite or maybe, Minecraft or something like that. That's how you introduce them. Selling them a $599.96 doll with an Xbox is probably not the most logical way of going by doing it.
Yeah, that I agree. That's
but to each his own. I do see guys damage controlling. Oh, it's for the kids. It's like, wait, you were the same guys that were giving Nintendo Labo shit. Pardon my French. You were the same guys laughing and pointing fingers at the Nintendo Labo guys, but now people are laughing and pointing fingers at this doll, and it's being broadcasted on the Xbox channel and stuff. I don't know. Kind of crazy.
I agree. I mean, to me, if they hadn't said anything, all they had to do was say about Labo, because it's just say, look, I understand what Nintendo's trying to do. It's not for me. Shout out to them for trying it. Hopefully it works out for them. That's the end of the statement. The fact is they were doing podcasts and it was a big deal. And now all of a sudden, and that's the problem is they say these things and then they act like they didn't say them. Then when they get called out on it, you get called, well, why are you, this is the console war, you're negative and all that kind of stuff. So
they can't take it.
Yeah. Yeah. So so for me, I don't, everybody grew up differently, but back in the day, if you went over to your aunt's house, or your grandmother's house, whatever, you had at Thanksgiving, you had the adult sitting at a table, and then you had the kid at the kiddie table. Microsoft and Nintendo, they at the kiddie table.
Yeah.
Okay. They're at the kiddie table, and everybody else is and Sony is the adult. And sitting at that table is Naughty Dog, Guerrilla Games, and Santa Monica, and all. And then over here, you all got Fortnite and crossplay trying to survive together. Yeah. So I mean, it's just like a bunch of kids. I mean, just when you go outside, don't get your pants dirty, because you may have to wear them again later that week to school, so it's crazy, it's, but yeah, what do you think about it, J-Dub? The week because like you said, you kind of fell back and just kind of observed, but the week in review, as far as what we have seen this week, it's the entertainment has been hilarious, but what do you think about it?
Yeah, it is been hilarious. I think, again, it's short. The whole fake outrage is short term, right? Next week it'll be something else. We'll be laughing and joking and fake outraging about something else. I'm enjoying it though. I do enjoy the back and forth. I mean, you guys know that more than anybody. But it's just funny. I can't say I never saw the day where I thought Xbox and Nintendo would join forces. If anything, I thought maybe PlayStation and Nintendo would maybe do some things together, but it is what it is. I hope that helps each other. I hope Nintendo help Microsoft and Microsoft help Nintendo, because I hate to say it, but those games that Sony drop are right up my alley. That's what I'm looking for as a gamer. The games that the other people are dropping is not really my bag, my cup of tea. So gaming is a selfish hobby. It's about what you personally want out of it and what they can provide you,
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And it is. I think that's kind of what's, I've taken the default position that you got people consuming the media differently. And, one group feels threatened. But to me, the fact that you're right, if somebody had told me a year ago that Sony would have forced and make no mistake about it, Microsoft, there's not a doubt in my mind, Nintendo did not go to Microsoft about this. Microsoft probably went to Nintendo and said, look, we're getting crushed, out here, and they're coming out with game after game. Somebody had told me they would have worked together. It's the equivalent of Marvel putting Batman and Robin in one of their Avenger movies. That's what this is. That's, to take on something else from the outside. So
definitely.
Yeah. So Harry Ham. I have seen Dream. I did watch the whole Dreams thing at E3 thing. I didn't know they were doing that stuff. I didn't know that was from that. So I just thought that was some type of computer animation. But yeah. So he said, you wish you could only got my Nintendo PlayStation. Yeah, I agree with that. Nintendo helped us get the PlayStation. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, if people who don't know the history, I won't go into it now. But yeah, that's exactly why you have a PlayStation, also a decision Nintendo made. So, but yeah, so I guess you won't be. So no, you're not going to get the doll and give it away.
You know what? You never know. I may find one of these guys out here that's whining and crying, and they deserve it. I may. Yeah, they may get it.
Okay.
It just won't have an Xbox attached to it.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, and again, the company is what is it? All American Dolls or the American Doll or something like that. So you can get them. It doesn't have to be that doll. You can get one that's a boy. You can get a black one, a white one, a brown one. It's just that's the default doll that they showed. So so people don't get too upset. So but yeah, all right, man. Well, damn, I'd say that's about it, bro. You got anything else you want to add? I'm looking at the chat to see if there's any questions. And all right, let me ask you. All right, let me ask the chat. I've got how much time? I got like a week and a half left before I do my Xbox boxing. That's what I'm gonna call it. Week boxing.
I've never seen a boxing up. I saw an unboxing, but not.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a boxing up. Yeah, so so I've got like the division. So if anybody in the chat or Forza Horizon, anybody in the chat wants to play those games, let me know, because like I've asked like a bunch of people. This is just for everybody here, and like nobody wants to play those games. Everybody's like, I don't want to play that.
Exactly.
So yeah, what I think about Black Panther winning big at the awards. I thought that was about right. That was about right. I'm glad they won. I'm glad Chadwick Boseman gave his award away to the gentleman that he did. I thought that was really big on him. And I'm starting to feel bad for the cast of Black Panther, because no matter where they go and what they do, they're still getting asked about Black Panther.
Yeah,
I mean, they can't do press junkets for anything else because they're constantly being asked. So for the people in the chat,
it's a double-edged sword, Craig, because I mean that movie was so awesome and they did such a great job. Now there's other roles that the cast are getting asked to be in, and that is pretty much what it was supposed to do, right? You do a great job in this movie. It's a great movie. Now other people want you to be in their movies, and everyone gets that publicity, and they get their turn at the big, they get their due, their just due. But I can say why people keep asking them to do that one Wakanda Forever and fist bump and all that stuff, and it's it's kind of off-putting to some people.
Yeah, I did see. I don't know if it was Chadwick Boseman or
Michael B. Jordan
say he's he's glad that the movie did as well as it did. He was on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah,
and he said, but yeah, he's doing. They just did Creed 2. They did. I don't know if you saw that trailer.
Man, I can't wait.
Yeah, and he
got Drago's son versus Creed's son. Oh man.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. Of course, I guess, man, that's those guys should be, because Rocky 4 that happened in 1987. So these guys got started late. They ripped that headboard off late.
Okay, so let's go back for a second. Rocky 1 was Rocky versus, was it Clubber Lang?
Rocky 1 was he was up against Apollo Creed.
Okay, okay. The number 1 he was against Creed.
Yeah.
And then number 2, who was Rocky against?
Apollo Creed again.
Okay, okay, yeah, that's when they had their rematch. And then 3 was that. What was that? Who was Rocky against?
That's Clubber Lang. Yeah,
Clubber Lang. Okay, and then 4 was Drago, Ivan Drago.
Correct.
Okay, and then okay, and then after that we got into the what's that old boxer name? The
Rocky 5. That was Tommy Morrison.
Tommy Morrison. Yeah, him and so on, and kind of been downhill ever since. But yeah.
Rocky Balboa I thought was better. I mean that movie.
Antonio Tarver. Yeah, that was
yeah. Rocky Balboa. I thought at least the character that he played. That's the character that they transferred into Creed. As far as the way he, him getting older and
the story stopped being about Rocky and it started being about other people.
Yes, legacy and stuff like that. Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It's great, man. I'm glad. The first Creed movie was awesome to me. I got it on 4K Blu-ray, and I thought it was awesome. And it was good that they told Apollo Creed's story because remember, him and Rocky ended up being the best of friends. I mean, they were like the best competitors. They were really, really good friends. Yeah. And then, when he died, that was kind of like the end of that. And then they kind of came back. So we'll see, man. Hopefully this movie here continues on being a great movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think Ryan Coogler's directing it. He may be producing parts of it, but I think because Ryan Coogler's trying to negotiate an exclusive deal with Disney, and I don't blame him. Like, dude, I made you all $1 billion.
Yeah, yeah.
And James Gunn made you $1 billion and got an exclusive deal, and the Russos made you. I mean, that's pretty much what he's telling them.
Yeah, yeah.
But he wants to do a movie about Musa Man, and that'll be something else.
Mansa Musa.
Yeah, Mansa Musa. I'm sorry. Yeah, Mansa Musa. Yeah,
I can't wait for that, man. And for those of you guys that don't know, was the richest guy to ever walk the face of the planet.
Yeah.
And he's a brother.
Yeah, the black man. Yeah, he wants to do that. And he's I'm trying to think the other guy to help produce Black Panther is in early negotiations to produce a Shaka Zulu remake or Zulu Dawn remake. I think they're just gonna call it Shaka Zulu.
Man, I can't wait for that. You remember the original one back in the 80s? Well, it was back in the 80s for me, but I think the original movie may have been in the 70s.
Oh, Zulu Dawn? Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember in the 80s seeing that. So yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly. Yeah. I remember because it was the late 70s, early 80s, because we were still living in Cincinnati and we had this cable thing called On TV. And basically it was one cable channel. And it started at 6 o'clock at night, and Zulu Dawn would come on like at 11 o'clock, then 2 o'clock. And I remember waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning and sneaking downstairs and watching because it was rated R. Yeah. And I was a little kid watching it. I'm like, damn, man, they killing these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, but that's what's going on with that. And what do you think about the Disney counter offer? $70 billion for Fox's properties.
Hey man, they got the money, pony up, get it done, because over the next 10 to 20 years, they're gonna make all that money back with all the movies they can come out from that. And think about it, all the movies and video games they can come from that.
Yeah. Well, the movies alone, they said that, I mean, Kevin Feige finally said something about it that you wouldn't see them, if at all, until phase 4. Mm-hmm. And because we're finishing, I guess we're at the end of phase 2 or Avengers, this opens up phase 3. Mm-hmm. It's something like that because we have Captain Marvel, then the second Avengers, and I don't know and then Guardians 3. All that is coming. So then the Eternals, they're still going to go with that. They're doing a Miss Marvel. I'm going to do a podcast on Miss Marvel versus Captain Marvel because they're two different people. I brought that up during the last podcast, but I'll be able to go a little more in depth. Man, hell, maybe later tonight. I don't know. But yeah, to saying 71 billion. Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's half of Disney's cash value. Yep. I think I said the other day it was half of what that company's worth. That was untrue. That was my mistake. It's half of their cash on hand value. So it's a lot of money. It's more money than I'll ever see.
Exactly.
But it'll give them access to you're right, the X-Men and all the Star Wars movies. People got to realize that Disney bought Lucasfilm for like $3.6 billion, and Fox still owns episodes 4, 5, and 6, and Disney owns 1, 2, 3, 7, and 8. So, and that's why those 4, 5, and 6 have not been put in 4K yet, because Fox won't do it. So it's not that Disney doesn't want them to do it; it's Fox will not do it. So.
Yeah, that kind of make me mad with that, man. It doesn't matter. Just go ahead and remaster those movies and put them out there. You're gonna make money for it anyway.
Yeah, true. Yeah, somebody said the first Spider-Man movie was a Sony movie. Yeah, all the Spider-Man movies have been Sony. It's just with Homecoming, that was a collab with Marvel. Marvel wrote it. I'm sorry, Sony wrote that movie, Marvel produced it and paid for like 80% of it, and Sony kept all the money. People think, well, Sony you only got that much. No, Sony kept all that money. All Marvel got was a pat on the back and an attaboy.
Yeah.
And Sony's the reason why that Iron Man was also in the movie. That was part of the negotiation.
Yeah.
They were like, sure, we can do the collab, but we want to put Iron Man in it. So And it worked. I mean, it was a good movie. It wasn't great. I mean, I thought it was okay, but yeah, it wasn't bad. I thought he did better than Tobey Maguire. So he's a good Spider-Man. But all right, brother, I'm gonna go ahead and get on up off here. You wanna does anybody in the chat have any questions? So wonderful. Get the Fox logo and Lucasfilm Disney before the Star Wars crawl down. No. You don't get that now. You just get Lucasfilms.
Yep.
So, that stopped with episode 7. They don't do it anymore.
Yeah. Keep in mind, guys, this stuff happens all the time. Stuff goes back and forth. It traded off, is sold, depending on how well the companies do. Sony had a lot of freaking, a lot of IPs and stuff like that, and those things bombed, and a lot of times they just let it go. They sold it off or something like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, they can write movies off up to I think 30%.
Yeah,
and then at that point it starts eating into them, and then they'll come back and be like, because I tell you, a movie Deadpool 2, it underperformed. It's not that it was bad. It underperformed compared to where they projected it at for against Deadpool 1.
Yep.
So if there's and they're going to make X-Force, but now it's like, okay, they gave you $62 million to make Deadpool. They gave you $130 to make Deadpool 2. They're going to come back at him and say, look, probably give you about $90 to $102 million to make X-Force, because they'll say it'll make money. We don't know if it'll make, because maybe that novelty has worn off. And I like Deadpool 2. I mean, I thought there were some scenes that dragged. But I loved it. Juggernaut, Juggernaut was in it. I loved that. Hadn't seen him since the third X-Men movie, which was straight garbage. I mean, everybody can be. Last Stand was garbage. But nah, that's the Black Panthers, Lifeguards, the legendary Amazon Warriors. No, that would be the Dora Milaje. That's his. That would be, they do everything. So yeah, they pretty hip. But yeah, the Dora Milaje is a takeoff of the Amazonians. Yeah, Kirby and Stan Lee have both said that. That's exactly what they are.
Yeah.
So, and so somebody else asked me who I think would win in a fight between the Amazons and the Dora Milaje. I mean, you gotta probably the Dora Milaje because they would have better equipment. But if Diana Prince showed up, she would beat all the Dora Milaje because she's a demigoddess. With that said, if Shuri showed up as Black Panther, that would cancel that out. So I give it to the Dora, only because they got better weapons.
Yeah.
You know, but if Zeus enchants, I don't know. All right, if Zeus enchants the Amazonian weapons, which he has the power to do, the Amazonians would win. So, but yeah, Sony is even allowing people to make the Venom movie. No, Sony's making the Venom movie. That's 100% Sony and the new animated Spider-Man movie.
Facts.
And they're making the Silk movie. That's in early talks. Silk, which is a female version of Spider-Man, not Spider-Gwen, but Silk. So we're gonna have to see. Valkyries versus Wakanda. If the Valkyries have enchanted weapons, the Valkyries would kill them. They're extraterrestrial. Y'all gotta understand, they're extraterrestrials. The Valkyries are. And now, if you're talking about the Valkyries from Thor, it would be a good fight, but the Valkyries would win. But those Valkyries from God of War, again, the Wakandans would take a huge L. And it's just the way it would work out.
Exactly.
Yeah, but all right, then we're gonna get on up off here. Oh, what do you think about this thing called the Thread Ripper? What exactly does it do as far as ripping threads? Some type of computer chip or something?
Yeah, no, it's a thread rips. How many threads you can have per cycle? So, for example, I think if you have a 6-core CPU, there's like 2 threads per core. And so that's how you kind of calculate that. It's just how many processes that you can work on at once. AMD has their Threadripper, CPUs and stuff like that. At the end of the day, when it comes to games, most games only use four cores. For most games. Now I'm talking about PC games. A lot of them are starting to get optimized for multiple cores and multiple threads. So we'll see in the future. All this stuff is good, but if you don't have the software that's actively using every single thread and every single core, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Are you all leave Kathleen Kennedy alone? She's fine. I mean, good grief. They made how many Star Wars movies? 3. They made 4 Star Wars movies, and 3 of the 4 made over $1 billion. One of them made $2 billion. One made $1.5 billion, and Rogue One made $1.1 billion. So the only, I guess, movie that underperformed, but Rogue One overperformed. You all got to remember that. Rogue One was projected to do like $630 million. It did $1 billion.
Yeah.
So that's why I think Solo, that money's going to come in right about 500 million, which is where it should be. It should not be making $1 billion. It'd be nice if it did, but it should make its money back and a little bit. So, but yeah, leave Kathleen alone. She's fine. Like I said, I think got a bunch of butthurt men that are mad that Rey is more powerful than Luke. I mean, this is the bottom line. I was telling Ryan the Professional that a little bit earlier. You got a lot of men mad that Rey is just more powerful than Luke. I mean, y'all got to get over it. Get over it. So, man. So, Kathleen Kennedy, they're doing, because all those Star Wars movies, uncompetitive, because there's 3 more coming with Rian Johnson. There's the Star Wars stuff, the TV show that's going to probably go to Netflix and be their version of Game of Thrones. So all that is under Kathleen Kennedy. So, and that the Star Wars TV show type things, Rebels, that's all under her watch. So it's like, okay, she made Solo and it did not do well, but everybody loves Star Wars Rebels. I mean, I haven't watched Rebels before, but everybody I talk to loves it, loves it, So she's fine. Ray is not able to astral project. I didn't, well, not yet, but Luke is what? You know, Luke's character, they said, is what, over 200 years old, or it's something like that. I don't know how old he is. So, but Ray will be able to do those things and more. And more, you just have to see. JW, you all gonna go see Ant-Man and Wasp?
That's a no.
No? Okay.
I wait till it come out on Netflix or something. I'm not into that.
Yeah, well, you know, Thor Ragnarok is on Netflix.
Yeah. I've been checked that out. I got that on 4K Blu-ray. I love that movie, man.
Yes, I didn't get that one before. I got the Guardians one. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go if Thor's on sale because I was rolling again. I forgot how funny it was. Yeah. And was watching it again. So
if you didn't see Thor Ragnarok and you saw the Avengers, then you could be missing. You're missing out on a lot because you don't understand how Thor hair got cut, how his eye got ripped out. You're missing all of that stuff.
Yeah, and they wrote him to Taika Waititi because he helped produce Avengers, and the part he produced was Thor's scenes because he wanted him to be portrayed as like you said, like they did it in Ragnarok. So that's the Thor we saw. But yeah, I still think Thor, right? Because I didn't know. I mean, I liked the first Thor. I thought the second Thor was straight trash. I thought it was garbage. But that Ragnarok, that was just a good movie, and Thor was in it. Thor and Hulk was in it. So, but yeah, I know too. The Luke Cage. Yeah, I'm gonna go get my chicken and binge watch Luke Cage. So Ragnarok was hilarious. Yeah, it's one of the funniest movies I've seen. Yeah. I even like that villain. They toned her look down. The way she looked when she first came out of, I guess she would have came out of Helheim. If we want to be historically accurate, like they say about Battlefield 5. Yeah, what do you think about this crap with Battlefield 5 and people saying that they're going to boycott the game because there's a woman on the cover? Well, what the hell?
This is what happened, Craig. This is in times like these, you find out how the education system has failed our kids. Most people get their history right from TV, so they're so used to their whole lives they've been watching the History Channel and stuff like that, thinking that only these guys over here in the West have ever participated in wars and stuff like that. I mean, you still have a lot of people that don't know that Black people have fought in wars and helped win wars and stuff like that, let alone women. So you got to realize you're looking at it from that standpoint. So yeah, there's a lot of miseducation and there's a lot of ass-hattery going on. If you don't know about wars and you don't know world history, stay out of it because you really look like a fool. But again, most people get, a lot of people over here in the West only get their knowledge of war from movies like Saving Private Ryan and the rest of these other movies,
Yeah, I tell people, the only reason why the United States won, well, I mean, I can't say they won. The reason they won World War II was because they were able to bomb Nazi Germany 24/7, and those dudes, those bomber pilots were scared to death, but ultimately the Tuskegee Airmen escorted them in and got them out.
Yeah.
So those guys got
the job done. They got the job done.
Yeah, they got the job done. And Tuskegee, if you all don't know, those are all Black airmen. Yeah. All of them. And they did not lose
a point. To the Red Tails.
Yeah, Red Tails, which the movie was garbage. But and that was a George Lucas movie, by the way. But there's another one. Did you ever watch the one that came on HBO called it was just called the Tuskegee Airmen?
Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, that's a really good one. But again, Craig, back to what I'm saying, right? If you don't know the accurate portrayal of history, then you would think that the only guys that ever fought in wars look like the guys that have been on the cover of Battlefield and Call of Duty for the last 20 years. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
Now that an accurate presentation have been displayed and it's more diverse and people are being unfolded into an accurate history and not the propaganda side, right? Because there's two sides to everything. And the victors always get to rewrite history and tell war from their side, which a lot of times is not always the most accurate side. It's the bravado side. You want to sell to your people and your country and to the world something that that makes it seem more pleasurable and more likable. But it is what it is. I mean, every place do it, but yeah.
They're saying that it was their take on World War II. You can't change history to please them. What is an SJW in feminist? Look, you all need to go look up the Polish resistance, the French resistance, and the Russian Soviet resistance against Nazi Germany. And you'll see who was doing the fighting, even on the front line.
Yeah.
This stuff, you all should have learned this in history. I mean, it's not that big a deal. Like, these other countries that were occupied, everybody was fighting. Now the United States, yeah, they did make sandwiches and stuff like that. Oh, did you also know that the coding that was used during World War II was not English, because the Germans were breaking it because the people were stupid. So they ended up having to use Navajo language to get past the Germans.
Yes.
So again, the reason why you all won World War II is not because of who you were, but it's because who you had in your countries.
Yes.
And again, you all have got to know that. And if you don't know that, that is, that's not my fault. Yeah, that's a you problem. Is did Decay VEGA get beat 62-0?
62-0 against a Nintendo dude.
Oh,
against Black Bear, he got spanks. 62-0, and then they played on the Xbox, which is, obviously K Mega's platform of choice. So yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, you all got to realize that there's more women in the United States than men, so media is pushing towards them.
Yeah.
So, there's a reason why Naughty Dog showed two women kissing, and I didn't care. That's like the way it should be. That girl Ellie kissed that girl the way I would kiss her.
Fact.
That was some tongue up in there, man. Let me tell you something.
I can't wait for the rest of it. God damn it.
Yeah, they could have paused it right there. That's the way it should be. So yeah, they hooked that shit up. And what made it funny was there's a YouTube video from E3 about how they had to practice that kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Because she said they had to get used to doing it. Because she was like, "Well, I've never kissed a girl before." So
yeah.
Oh man. The Japanese American troops and were the highest decorated soldiers, but not in the air, Ryan. Not in the air.
Yeah.
Where World War II was actually won was in the air.
Well,
and the Battle of the Bulge, keep it a buck, the Battle of the Bulge. That was
you got to remember, right? The World War II was many theaters, so it just wasn't one theater. You had multiple things going on, different places and stuff like that. So, but again, I hate to say it, but most of us Americans, we get our history not necessarily from an accurate presentation of what happened, but we get it from, a lot of people get it from movies that they've watched, and that's just kind of, it's unfortunate. A lot of people just are not educated enough and have not went to schools or universities that have taught them the accurate presentation about what really happened and what was it for? What was it about?
Yeah, I agree. Well, now, Ryan, look. Ryan Landis, understand that, they didn't give Black Soldiers awards in World War II.
Facts. Matter of fact, after the war, right after they helped win the war, they came back and still had to get on the back of the bus and walk through the back of the stores and still couldn't look at people in their eyes and had to go to shitty schools, and they still got, hung and lynched and everything else. So
still going on today.
Come on now.
Yeah. Ashley Johnson is very good in TV and Blind Spot with Thor said. I didn't know she was in. Oh, that's right. She is on that show. I didn't know that. That's Ashley Johnson. Yeah, you're right. Wow. I forgot all about that. Huh. Forgot she was on Blind Spot. Yeah, that's a good catch. I didn't know. Damn. I learned something today.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Japanese had it great though. Oh no, after that bomb got dropped on Japan, they quit. I mean, it's like we can't. I think when they surrendered, they said we can't fight against America's new cruel weapon. They called it a weapon of cruelty. It was so bad to them psychologically that they invented Godzilla. Okay, Godzilla is the representation of horror from the atomic bomb. That's just psychologically how bad what it did to Japan. So now, granted, Japan shouldn't have bombed Pearl Harbor, but the United States shouldn't have cut off their oil supply. So just imagine if you wake up tomorrow and our leader, President Trump, comes out and says, they cut off our oil supply from the Middle East. This is very bad, very, very bad people in the Middle East. I mean, that's, you will all be ready to send troops in too.
Exactly.
So yeah, well, we're gonna get it up out of here. So somebody tell me about the Ryzen 5 2600. I was just gonna get the Ryzen 1600. Wasn't gonna overclock it, but if I gotta play something called a Cyberpunk, and I gotta have something called an i7, J-Dub, what is the equivalent of that? If I can't afford, hell, I'll just come out and say it. I can't afford the i7. So what?
Well, those Ryzen chips, the 5 series and the 7 series are pretty good, Craig. So you'll be good to go, man. You'll be good to go.
All right. Well, I just want to see it because
you don't have to play every game at 4K and 200 frames a second.
Oh, so that's what that was. That game was running. Yeah, I just want to be 1440p 60.
You good enough to go with that, man.
Okay, cool. I'm getting afraid up over here. What the hell's going on, people? So yeah, we're going to, but yeah, very E3 very quick. The Ghost of Tsushima, I think, won best of show. Death Stranding does. Shout out to Yang Ye. He did a video on Death Stranding. He had a secret message in it. I thought Death Stranding looked fantastic. I thought it was on a PC. I think somebody told me it was on a Pro. Whatever, it looked good. I'm buying it. And Battlefield 5, yeah, I agree. I'm buying that day one just to shut these idiots up. And I may not even play it because I hate EA. I mean, you all know I am not an EA guy, but just to shut these idiots down, I'm buying Battlefield 5 because why not? So, So, still there, J-Dub?
I'm here.
All right, then. Yeah, we'll get on up out of here. But go ahead and shout yourself out, brother.
It's been good, y'all. It's your boy J-Dub, a.k.a. Kratos, the god of PlayStation and all things gaming. Wrapping it up again, once again, Craig's Corner. Thank y'all for rocking out. Make sure you hit that like, that sub, and check out the next video coming up soon.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, this has been Craig's Corner, man. J-Dub, thanks for swinging by. And I'll give Ryan the professional the message just to hit you up and see if you can jump on there. So I got a question. You believe Joel and The Last of Us joined the new cult faction, The Last of Us 2, to do redemption with his past, and this will go against Ellie's interest? We'll find out when the game comes out. We will find out, because remember, at first he was dead. Now, and everybody's like, he's dead. All these theories popped up. Where's Joel? And then they confirmed, oh no, he's alive. This is why you wait on the developer. You wait on the studios. You wait on whatever. So just don't read too much into it. I thought the gameplay looked so good that the Rise of the Tomb Raider people said it was fake 4K. Like Nier Automata is fake 4K.
Yeah. Well, in Digital Foundry and NX Gamer came out and ran their analysis and said obviously it's real because they saw some of the flaws and some of the what do you call it? Some of the stair stepping and some of the stuff that showed it was actual gameplay. So, but again, that just like they said, it's just a testament that the Naughty Gods have always made those games where people question it and say, "Oh, that's CGI, that's not real gameplay," and then the game comes out and it looks better than their E3 reveal. So,
Yeah. And to the people who were saying D-Bat said it was PC, you got to ask yourself a rhetorical question. When has D-Batch been right about anything? I mean, it's a rhetorical question because I'm still waiting on my 1080p 60 on Assassin's Creed. And I've got the Ryzen CPU. See, J-Dub didn't know that. I'm breaking news now. I've got a Ryzen CPU in my Xbox.
There you go.
And I still don't. I still can't do. I don't have no button on there. You know, 60 frames per second on these games. You know, so you know. So what am I going to do? I mean, I got this Xbox here, and that's why I'm going to do the reboxing because shout out. I guess it was it Savage Junior? I think you said that I don't need Game Pass for Go or something like that. Or backwards compatibility or something. It was something. I don't need internet for something. So it'll just be here, because I do have Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and we got Black Panther and a couple other Marvel movies, and that's exclusively on the Xbox.
Yeah.
Which has got to be the dumbest statement in the last 6 months on Twitter, So.
Yeah.
Oh man. But all right then, bro, we're going to get on up out of here. I appreciate you coming by. This has been Craig's Corner, the Messiah of Xbox. Check us out later on. We may both be on Ryan the Professional's podcast. He said he's inviting a lot of people, so we'll have to wait and see. And we'll talk more about that doll, and because that's the highlight of the week, I guess, so far. That and the fake outrage. And the fake 4K about. I mean, again, I don't care that Nier Automata is checkerboard at 4K. You all know me. My girlfriend is 1440p, so I'm good there. But when you sit up there and you attack the PlayStation Pro for doing checkerboarding and call it fake 4K, now you're getting your fake 4K on too. And again, just don't act like you didn't say this stuff. That's all people are asking. Shut up and play your games. But guys, all right, but we're going to get on up out of here, and you all take it easy and stay blessed. And I'm going to go watch Luke Cage and get me some Popeye's chicken. So you all take it easy. Peace.
Peace.
Well, let me see.